Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris. Thank you for joining me today. Chris Mallard, for those of you who don't know. Today's Wednesday, Woden's Day. Man, it's going to be a good one. We got a good one for you today. That's interesting. How do you feel about it? We've got a good show for you today, but it's not a good situation or circumstance. Wow, thank you, Carl Haylett, for subscribing. We've got a guest today. Tersia is going to be joining us in just a moment, and she's having some blasphemy laws issues. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, my co-host Rion Cultastic is with me, and we'll be back in just a minute. It's going to be an interesting show. Thank you for joining us this morning. Let's go with this one.
Life is complicated. These are trying times. There are many questions that need answering. Want to know what's going to help? Atheism. With atheism, you'll get rid of dogma, superstitions, and toxic thought patterns that are holding you back. You can drive while taking atheism, as well as use heavy machinery. In fact, drinking alcohol, fornicating, and Sunday mornings are far more enjoyable with atheism. However, there are side effects. Some evangelicals and fundamentalists will think you are possessed by the devil. But you don't have to worry, because you know the devil isn't real. Just like God. Wake up to your life. Believe in yourself. Believe in science. Atheism.
All right, and we are back. Now, I got to say, I've been looking forward to the show ever since last week. Let me bring up our guests and my co-host, Rion and Tersia. Good morning. Rion?
Good morning.
How are you doing? Can you hear me okay, Rion? You can hear me okay.
I can hear you okay. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. And it looks like Tersia lost sound just as we hit the go button.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. So Tersia is there. There's Miss Tersia.
Tersia.
So we will, I think she lost her sound though. You can't hear us? Ba weep grana weep ninny bon? No.
Maybe not.
Yes. She may need to refresh her page. Can you refresh your page? Refresh your page.
She's like, are you crazy? Am I crazy? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe. She can't hear us. So let me do a thing. What's
You'll
that?
have to get used to, you have a whiteboard. You're going to have to get used to writing backwards so you can hold it up and just.
Oh, that's a great.
I'm not saying do it now, but
backwards. That's
you know what I'm saying?
Or,
so you can say refresh your page.
Or I could send her a message on Facebook.
Or, there's always that if you want to be simple. I was just trying to make it difficult.
I know how you are. I know. I've seen. This is just. It's the tech gremlins. They just out of nowhere. Good morning, everyone. Machine Elf is here, man. Machine Elf, I haven't seen you in a day or three. I hope everything's going well with you. At this time, normally in the show, I do my hellos and saying howdies to everybody. So let me do this. Okay, good. Good morning, Left-Handed Jedi, Henry Mars, Adrian Belgrave, Machine Elf, Simply Secular Dave. Thank you for being here this morning. Yes, I sent her a message telling her to refresh her page and try blessing it. Joe E is here. Thank you for joining this morning, Joe E. And Ember. Hugs, Ember. Thank you for joining us. Can you hear us now, Tersia? Hello?
Hello? Can you hear us?
We can hear you.
Yeah, I heard some typing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Interesting. You can't hear us?
Zeus. Oh, I think she's writing something. I like this game. Sounds like dog.
There you go. I'm not sure maybe she tries a different browser. Good morning, Steven. I'm gonna pull her down from here and just kind of, unfortunately, man, I was really hoping, and she'll pop back up in a second. Sorry about the problems, Tersia. This apparently she's using her phone, and
maybe
she's not in America. She's not in America, so she's not on a real internet. It's not real technology or any of that stuff. So, so good morning, John Fapiano. I still remember the conversation on Truth Wanted. Well, thank you. Good morning, Machine Elf. Can you hear us now, Tersia? Oh my goodness, but we can't hear you now.
Oh man. If it ain't one thing, if it ain't one thing, it's another.
I don't know. I don't know.
Nope.
This is a her. Let me.
Can't hear you, so
No,
sorry.
we can't hear you. This is
Zeus is playing roulette with the microphone here today. Or Jesus, I don't know, one of them.
Somebody is going on. You know, I want to tell you people, she was so generous that she showed up like 15 minutes early to test everything, make sure everything went well. It was working. Was it not working, Ryan?
It was. Yep, it was
working.
fine.
I swear, I'm like Han Solo in A New Hope. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I didn't do it. Can she see the chat? You know, right now, I don't think she can see the chat. I'm going to go. She says, let me. Oh, I asked her to refresh the page. I don't know how delayed that is, though. We will continue on, and we'll kind of engage. Ivy Chan, hey, let the writer Max T. Fur. Hey, I know the writer Max T. Fur. He wrote a novel called The Empathy Imperative, and he predicted everything with an eerie accuracy. Okay, that's interesting. Good to hear. Thank you for joining us, Ivy Chan.
Max T. Fur.
Max T. Fur.
That's a
Is
name.
he a furry? It is a name. Yeah, that's a good one, too. I mean, if he's not a furry, he should be a furry.
It would work perfectly.
It would indeed work. Money God is here. All right, here we are. Tersia once again sneaking in. Can you hear us? Tersia in. And we heard her briefly.
Something's happening.
Oh, my goodness. Can we hear you?
Oh, shit. She's upside down.
And now you're upside down.
Satan is freaking.
I don't know what the heck's going on.
What the hell?
Well, okay. Now we see the correct direction.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think.
I promise you, people, we did try.
We really did.
I've kind of pulled her down from the screen real quick just so she can work on that. Apologies. I'm not sure.
She's from South Africa. Grumpy librarian.
Yes, I thought I was like, girl, that's no reason to blame. That's not that's not why we're having technical problems.
I'm sorry.
You can't say that shit on the show.
That happens far too often. We're replying to something else and not what was just said, and it sounds like we said something else. No, sorry, grumpy librarian. South Africa.
Yes.
I don't know how to say that. Africa.
She's from South Africa. Yeah, she's there. She's in South Africa, I think. She's working on it though. It's Elon's fault, says AR. Probably so. Good morning, Neuro Geezer. I want to say thank you to you people who introduced me to Casey Malone. Was it Casey Malone? Is that her name? Is that correct?
Yes,
my memory is bad.
Yep.
Man, I went and watched her show. I caught up on her stuff yesterday. Watched her show this morning. Great stuff. She's very fun to watch. Knows her stuff, and very. I mean, she thinks like us. Yeah. How better do you say it? It's just
exactly.
There's a bias, obviously a bias.
I feel it's so hard to find people I can trust in following, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On these situations.
Oh yeah. She's very good. She did good stuff. I'm looking forward to knowing more about her. I didn't know about her till yesterday, and she apparently didn't know about the Daily Atheist Morning Show until this morning. So I guess.
Oh, you saw her? You talked to her? I mean, not talked to her.
Well,
commented or something.
Yes. I was in the chat. I was stalking in the chat. So
I see.
It was good. Jason Freer is here. Good morning, friends. Everyone, we do have a guest. Pray to Satan Claus. He's our only hope, says John Hudson. True enough.
Satan Claus.
We were about to get to that out of total desperation. Oh, it says the link is already in use. Now she's back again. Okay.
Hello.
Let's see how we go. Tersia, can you hear us? Tersia.
I feel like we heard her.
I heard her. I thought I heard her. Now she's upside down again. This is weird how this happened last time. And we can't hear her anymore.
Yeah. I think it's Satan.
Tersia, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. You tried different. Can you hear me? Nod if you can't hear me. You can hear me. Okay. So have you tried different browsers? You've tried 2 different browsers? I can't hear you, so you're going to have to nod.
Do you have an iPhone?
And you have tried different browsers. Okay. And you're upside down. So it's not just I mean, maybe you could turn your phone the other way. She's upside down.
Yeah,
It reminds me of,
upside down.
yeah, it reminds me of Galaxy Quest. Remember when they transported that thing inside? What's that? All right,
No,
you're there.
I just haven't seen Muttley.
Muttley. Oh yeah, the Mutleys had. Wow, I'm sorry, Miss Tersia, we still can't hear you. Let me refresh the page here. I want that to be the problem. It may just kick us out, and we'll be right back, folks.
Does she have headphones? Maybe she could try. Oh, I think Chris took himself off accidentally, but that's okay. So anyway, back to me, the star of the show. Thank God he's gone. Ah, damn it.
I have to say, some people in the chat are enjoying this part of the show.
They like seeing us act like assholes.
They're like, what the hell's got? Oh, yeah, it's Chris. This tech gremlins. I don't know what I did, Miss Tersia, to you to deserve this. Okay. She's getting serious. Her glasses are going on. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, no, it always tries to correct me too, Allie Bree.
Here we go. Oh, wait a second. That's
oh, hey there.
All right. So roll credits, says Ember. Okay, so what we're going to do real quick, let me kind of catch you up on some of what's going on while we work on that. She's doing stuff, and I'm going to get my Facebook open so I can see if she communicates with me. Okay. And I'm going to send her just a brand new link. Okay. Just stupid link. Let me go copy link. It's just a basic, the most basic of links. Try this.
Video Ninja being silly or something.
Maybe. Let's blame Video Ninja.
I like to blame it. So let's do it.
Damn you, Video Ninja.
Why I order.
Why I order.
Yes, Simply Secular Dave. I am on Discord. I'm on the damn Discord. And I do have like another Discord for like former cult members or, you know, ex-zealots. But yes, I am on there. You can friend me.
Cheers. But you are on there as Rion Cultastic now, right?
Yes.
I think you are.
I was a sandwich, and it was confusing for people who didn't know me from TikTok, where that's my handle, a sandwich. So.
Yes, but even then, it's like a.sand or something like that. And it's like, I tried, girl. I tried to find you. Of course, Discord, you know how Discord makes everything easy.
Yes, Discord's a pain in the butt.
It really is. I want to notice my hair. I don't know if y'all noticed it survived yesterday's haircut situation.
It looks good.
Does it? I've been commanded by the evil one to embrace the curl. So we're embracing the curl. I
was going to tell you that I liked your hair today because I can see the wave, the body to it, instead of it being the more.
She's watching this show. You're just encouraging her.
I'm just saying the definition in the curl looks lovely because you can see like the highlights and the different colors of the gray that you have in your hair.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Dimension is key, my friend.
Dementia is key, and I think I have.
Not dementia.
Pom Poppy says hello, Chris. Thank you. Looking sharp, Chris. Thank you very much. Curls are cool. We did it. For those of you who weren't here yesterday, we did a little vote. I was going to the haircutting place, and we did a vote, and people said they voted too to keep the long hair.
They did.
They told me the problem. The person who did my haircut yesterday, he told me the problem is I brush it. Don't brush it.
Yes.
I brush it, and it gets like all fuzzy, like a floof. And they're like, no brushing. Let me read this. Somebody said here, good words. Oh, cool names in the chat. Let me get to that, though. Ivy Chan says if she's using a tablet, she needs to set it against something, not use it laying down. That is causing the upside-down screen. Probably so. We could get over the upside-down screen. It's the audio, video, not being able to hear things part. Can you hear us now, Tersia?
Yes.
Oh, and we hear you, too. You're real.
He's here.
I am.
That's awesome.
What happened?
No. But
I don't think it was you.
Man, it wasn't you. It was not you. It was God smiting me for all the blasphemy I've done. Don't touch it for God's sake.
I think it was because I said I like to wing things. I'd like to be prepared but not overly rehearsed. So sorry.
Right. The same lady who said I want to show up early, make sure everything goes right.
And it was perfect, and then it just crashed. I don't know. Okay, but here we are. Here we are. I'm very honored to be here.
Let me say hello to Tersia. Good morning, Tersia. Thank you for joining us. Your name is not on the screen because I had to send you a blank link. I'll put it on the screen here in a minute when we get things going. Thank you for joining us. For those of you who are unaware, Tersia has been, you know what? Let me pop you up on the screen, Miss Tersia, and you can tell us what's going on. Okay? Here we go. Let's start with where you're from and who you are, and then tell us about the situation, okay? And then when you're ready, let me know, and I'll pop up the video, and we can go through that, okay?
Maybe that's not a bad idea. So I am Tersia du Plessis. I'm an atheist activist from Worcester in the Western Cape. Those who have not been here, it's a beautiful region of South Africa with a wine region. So I'm very honored and privileged to live here. The one drawback of where I live is it's extremely religiously conservative. And I think to your listeners and viewers, you might have more of a connection with me and my country now that you are experiencing a possible influx of Afrikaners as part of your government's plan to resettle the whites who are being genocided, which is not true. I can emphatically say there is no white genocide. And I say that as a white person living in South Africa. I'm not on a farm, so there's some nuance there, but there's no white genocide. So please, I'm safe. Don't worry. There's no concerns for my safety. Although, since I'm an atheist activist, my safety has been sort of not jeopardized. That would be exaggerating. But I've had a very nasty experience in the past year because of my atheist activism. I did make a short 2-minute video. I don't know, Chris, you must tell me if you want to play it. Do you think it's worthwhile? Otherwise, I can just tell the story.
Oh no, we must play it. Let me bring you down here. Let's get us together here on the screen. Okay, I gotta play this because I was just barely into it. And goodness gracious. Okay, so I'm gonna play this on the screen. Whenever I get it up there, you'll be the only one, Miss Tersia. Well, I'll let you talk, but they'll see the video, okay? They won't see any of this.
Okay, so I can talk while the video is playing.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Good.
Where's me, Chris?
I think the sound on the video is of a children's choir singing "Jesus Love Me That I Know." So there's no love like Christian hate.
That is very true. If you don't mind, just to avoid any kind of copyright strikes, since there's no real, I'm going to just mute the sound, okay? And we'll make it big like that. And now you can talk and tell your story.
Perhaps you can pause it there. If you can go back and pause it there at the first cross, so that's a friend of mine. We were together. So that signpost, it's actually a major traffic signpost on the national route as you travel through our town, which is a major thoroughfare from Joburg to Cape Town. I mean, and you can see the size of the cross that was stuck on there. We've removed. I did mention also in the making of this video that 2 crosses were harmed. So my sincerest apologies that we did have to harm the crosses. That was not our intention though. So those were glow-in-the-dark 3D printed crosses that were glued onto several traffic signs in Worcester. Now, firstly, I don't know about the US, but in South Africa, it's illegal to deface road traffic signs in any way, shape or form. And this was glued onto the very front. It was at night, especially when sometimes we have power outages, and then you have this thing that shines way brighter than the lettering on the signs. And the other interesting thing about that cross in particular, so it's at a very busy intersection where there's almost daily traffic stops by traffic officers. In fact, on the day that we removed that particular cross, there was a traffic officer sitting in his car watching us do it from about 20 meters away, a couple of yards away. Yes. And I removed those crosses because, firstly, I knew that the traffic officers wouldn't remove them. I don't know why not, but they hadn't removed them. They had been there for a month at least. So I took them off. Now you can go. There was another one. You can play the video.
Okay.
So that's one is
big.
That one is it's big. And now I saw that one. I was
okay. So that says Jesus is alive. If anybody can't see that.
I see. Oh no! And we lost whatever happened. You went upside down, and we can't hear you anymore.
It happened again. Like the upside down cross. It's the upside down video stream.
It's the upside down Tersia.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, Miss Tersia.
Darn it. Yeah, so could you imagine Jesus is alive glowing?
Let me do this real quick.
No, thank you.
Yeah, that is, goodness gracious. And it's pretty big. I mean, that is indeed right in the middle of there's probably, I don't want to say it. I'll be quiet. Yeah,
you know. 2 foot wide, at least a 2 foot wide sign, if not, or taller, excuse me. Can you hear us now? Yeah. Or can we hear you now? Damn it.
I'm sorry, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. Can you hear us?
Don't know what
you can hear us. Is there a microphone button there on the screen where you can mute yourself and unmute yourself and mute yourself? And
there it's muted. Maybe, now it's unmuted.
Yeah. Turn the phone over, maybe? Yeah, I don't know why we can't hear you. I mean, at least... She's going to do something. Okay. I don't know what you're going to do, but you do it.
Maybe she's going to look for headphones or something.
Money God says, atheists are amazing. You know, I agree, Money God. They are removing crosses. Christians being Christians, what a shock. I'm going to go ahead here and let's see.
I can hear you. I think.
I can see it moving. It's going green. You can't hear it?
Yep, I can.
We hear you. No, we're good. You're good now. All right. Talk fast, woman. Talk fast.
Go.
All right. So that was the other
No,
cross.
I'm kidding.
Now, that one was particularly dangerous because it's at a dead end. And I drove there at night when it was pitch dark. And the only thing you see is this cross coming at you. I know the area, therefore I was all right. But if somebody travels along that road and they don't know that area at night and it's dark, they are going to ram. I don't know what they're going to do. But so I took those crosses off. I saw and look, I'll be honest. I was trying to get some attention to the fact that this is illegal. It shouldn't be tolerated. So because it's illegal for 2 reasons. We are not a Christian country, and it's illegal to deface road traffic signs. It's also dangerous. And nobody took any action. Then I took the photos of the crosses and where I'd taken them down from, and I really wanted to engage with whoever had put them on there because these were not bought. These were definitely, maybe somebody got a new 3D printer and they wanted to try it out. And I wanted to engage with that person, or at least, if they didn't want to engage with me, that's fine. I would love to have given them back their crosses. And I made a post. We have a local town group. It's called Boelandorp. But it's actually for the whole region. So it's quite a big group. It has many people on it. And I made a post. And you can play the video because it'll show what the post is. Or was. Okay. Right. So that's I think it's an Afrikaans. I don't recall. Let me put on some form of glasses. The post that started it all Yes, it's in Afrikaans, and all it says is, does anybody know who the owner of these crosses are? That's all it says.
Okay.
And that was when my life started to, yeah, well, the first response that I got from the person who's now accusing me of blasphemy is, and if you play the video, you'll see what it says.
Oh, I clicked the wrong button. Now, I want to mention, I want to do everything to avoid, I don't want to do anything that's going to cause you any more trouble in your court case. Because you go to court next week, right?
Next Friday, that's right. Yes, the 13th, Friday.
Friday, the lucky 13th. So I just want to mention, I know I would like, if we can, to avoid, I just don't want to say or do anything on the show that's going to cause you any more trouble or any trouble during your court case, okay? Here and there, so I'm just saying, really, it's, we lost her. She's like, come out, bitches.
She's like, matter of fact, I got to go.
She's like, oh, I didn't think about that. Let me get out of here.
Oh, shit. Is this a setup?
Right. She's like, did I say I remove the crosses? I mean, like, I meant that metaphorically.
I can hear.
Hello again. You're back, maybe. All right. Can we hear you?
Testing.
There you are.
Again.
There we go.
All right. So I'll let you go on. Here's the post that started it all, you say. And it's in Afrikaans, and you were telling us what the post means?
Might be some lag.
Lag.
Maybe.
Ms. Tersia? I will now communicate with her using interpretive dance.
Yes, please.
Ms. Tersia? Huh.
Do the electric slide.
Okay. Ms. Tersia, can you hear us? I don't know what's going on. She's gonna go do something. She's having, if it's not, she's having issues.
Oh.
We hear you. I don't know if you hear us.
Okay, sorry. I just went and can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you. Can you hear us? Yes.
Can you see her, Chris?
I can see her.
Okay.
Hang
I hit her.
Okay, there
Can
we go.
you hear us?
I'm going to try from another phone.
Okay. I'm going to pull you down, and we'll talk about other things while you get that worked out. There we go. Okay. Let me just catch up with our chat. We got a lot of things going on in the chat. Simply Secular Dave says, I always think it was the puppies chewing on the cables. I know. Where's Ollie when I need him? He's over there sleeping.
Ollie.
Oh, and Ollie's got to go today. He's going this morning to the place. Tim is here. Good morning, everyone. Tersia, if you can hear us, just let us know whenever you're ready to continue going. Otherwise, I'm just going to dance monkey dance. James Apperson is here. Good morning. Says that he's been a fan of Tersia for quite some time. Thank you all for your patience. It's a long way from here to South Africa, and apparently the internet takes its time getting there. Miss Non Sequitur is here. Let me bring up some puppies. Here's Ollie. Oh my goodness gracious! Look at Ollie dog. He is filthy
Puppies
and disgusting. Look at this dog.
Squid,
oh my goodness. He is he going to give us a yawn? He was over there laying down. This is our Ollie dog.
We can hear you.
Okay, guys, I'm on my husband's new phone. I think my iPhone is too old, so I am on my husband's phone and I'm using Google as a browser and not Safari. So let's see how this goes. Do you mind? Let's see how this goes.
Please. Well, you look better than I do now, so you just really got to stop it. I need to check my phone.
All right, so now there you go. Okay, so I made that post. And Chris, you said that you don't want to get me into trouble, and I agree. I don't want to make things worse, but what is your suggestion? Let me hear.
Well, I don't know. Let's start with no. There's no way you're going to blame me. You're like, I took legal advice from that jackass on the internet, and here I am.
Bad idea.
Well,
No, I actually.
Aside, though, well, kidding aside, you're in a country that actually does have blasphemy laws. I hope at best you're looking at a fee or a fine.
Yes, but the reason I'm not at this stage afraid, in fact, I'm quite eager to get some publicity on this, because I think the fact that we still have blasphemy laws on our books in our country that has a very secular and very liberal. Sorry, I'm just trying while I'm doing this because I can't get my husband's phone cover off and it won't fit into my setup here. I had everything ready, but life is what happens when you've made other plans. Yeah. So I'm just trying to quickly change a setup here and get the phone onto something that I don't have to hold it like this. But
that's perfect.
I think it's about time that more people realize that we actually have blasphemy laws on our books, because I did not know that we had blasphemy laws on our books until I was accused of it. But so what happened was, and if you just go back to the video, I can give some background where the blasphemy thing comes into this. And I can also maybe give some insight into how I'm hoping.
There you go. I was going to ask you, are you okay? You want to set it down, or is it going to work?
No, it's fine. I can.
Can you hold it still?
I'm holding it still, but I'm managing. I just need to get one fitting undone, and then I'll be all right. And
there you go. That's
well.
Perfect. Then while you do that, let me ask a question. Okay, that'll allow you to focus. Perfect. Let me ask you this fantastic question. You said, if I remember correctly, that these blasphemy laws haven't been, and nobody's been charged with them in decades, right? So are you the first person that may face this?
The last time anybody was charged with the blasphemy law was in 1968, and it was a university professor who did, sorry, give me 1 second. Sorry, this will settle down in a moment. It was a university professor who hosted a speech with the title "God is Dead." So this was in 1968, and he was fined. So that was the last time anybody was taken to court, and that person received a fine. So, but it is still very much on the books, and I am very curious to see how this is going to pan out for me in my case, because I don't think it's been tested in our courts since 1968. So this has the potential to be, I'll just hold it in my hand.
Hard. I pulled it off the screen so people can't see you. I think they can hear you. They can hear you, though. It's very rough. I don't know about anybody else.
Okay. Yeah, I
turned it off the screen. I'm sorry, Bomb Poppy. Other people, I'm sorry we'll get there. If you would just set it on the table or anything.
I'm going to try and do that. Let me just see. What I can't, these bloody things. I can't get it's my husband's phone, and I can't get the. Okay, I've set it down on my computer. Just let's go with that. Let's see. Am I gone again?
No.
Am I gone? Am I back?
No, you're here. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You can put me back on. I think I'm steady now.
Okay. No, yeah. I've got things going on. Let me figure out what's going on.
You too.
No, I mean, yes, go ahead. No, it's okay. Let me,
okay.
I was a little discombobulated. I was trying to get shit going. I'm sorry, everybody.
No, not
get it up here again.
Not my best angle, but this is what we're going to go with. Okay,
no,
so
it's static angle, and that's all we need. Go ahead.
So you can play the next shot, because this escalated really, really fast. So I posted under the name of the organization that I'm trying to get off the ground. It's called Kruisvrij, which means cross free, which you know, we all have to bear a cross, except that we don't have to bear any crosses. So the name is very Afrikaans, and it's actually it's a play on words. So kruisvrij, free from crosses. We don't have to bear crosses. We don't need to carry these crosses. That's basically the message that I want to put out there. So the very first engagement with this person that is now accusing me of blasphemy is, you atheist scumbags better watch yourself. Now, I've been threatened on Facebook before, and it's par for the course if you're in this game. However, in this case, you know, it's one thing for somebody to threaten you on Facebook. It's quite something else for them to phone your husband's place of work and to tell, and I know that this person lives 40 kilometers, a few odd miles away. I know that he has a vehicle, and he's phoning the place that where my husband's partner runs a business with him, and he's phoning that place, and he's saying, I'm going to come there, and you better tell your wife. I went, Rion, you're a woman. Do you also need your husband to keep you in check, you know?
Oh my God. I will punch somebody who says something like that. No, you better watch it.
That's only because your man can't keep you in check.
Watch your mouth.
Sorry.
My man, my husband, who is 6'6" and used to play rugby, has to keep me in check, okay? Because, and that's his job as a good man. So you can I just want to show you some footage of screen grabs just to show the extent of the threats that came in. I don't know if you saw it, Rion. So I just want to quickly run through that, and then I want to talk about what happened and what's going to hopefully happen. Okay, so speak to my husband, because I can't do this on my own, all right? And we mocking the faith. That's another important issue, that I removed crosses that were illegally put onto traffic signs, and that is now constituted as mocking the Christian faith. You can play on.
Okay. Maybe I can. There we go.
I think you can just play it through, Chris, for now, because it's deal with you the right way. So I'm going to be dealt with. That was on the 10th of April last year. Oh, this is a nice one. Spare the rod, spoil the child.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So it is a long message. We can get back to that as well, because there's a reference to the Buddha. Do you see that? So you have 60 Buddha in your country now, and you better be careful, because if you fuck with Buddha, they will teach you a lesson. So, okay. So beware.
If you don't mind, for those of you, or for those of us who don't know who that is, can you give us just a brief history of who we're talking about here? I'm going to highlight you on.
Yeah, I mentioned them in one of our
I was going to, and then you picked up your phone.
Yeah, I wanted to. There we go. Put me back on. Sorry.
I'm just saying it's very hard on the. Okay,
yeah,
so go ahead. Can you tell us who the Boer are?
Okay, the Buddha, the Afrikaners, and you have 60 of them now, and there's apparently many more coming, according to your Secretary of State. There'll be many more. They are conservative, religious people of Dutch, French, and German descent, mostly Dutch and French, and the Buddha is the colloquial name for Afrikaners. So Afrikaners and Buddha is basically one thing, and I think this is maybe also relevant to Americans and Americans watching, because these are the kind of people, and not all of them. I mean, everybody's different, but I don't like stereotyping, but okay. I do know, and I don't want to stereotype, but if you call yourself a Boer, then this is the mindset that you will probably have. An Afrikaner, I have been told that an Afrikaner cannot be an atheist, because an Afrikaner is by default part of God's chosen people. So, yes.
What?
Yes.
But no, wait, tick. Americans are God's chosen people.
It's deep in it.
I know. I'm so sorry, but the Afrikaners are really God's people.
I'm disappointed now. I am.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Right.
I'm sorry that I had to break it to you.
I was today years old when I found out, you know. Okay, so clear there's a clear difference between these people at border and just not every white South African is one of those. They're more like a MAGA.
That is a very good analogy. Yes. And that is why so many of them are so keen to come over and join you guys there in MAGA land, you know.
Yes. Okay. We did a show a couple of days ago, and I even asked the question on that show. I wonder how many other countries that have white supremacists. I wonder how many of those countries Trump will reach out to and try to import their white supremacists to us.
That's what they're going to do.
And I even clarified, though, not that the people that are being brought in from South Africa are all white supremacists, but at that time I had no idea who they were. So I didn't want to blanket label anybody. But here you are, and you actually know who they are.
Absolutely. And while we don't know too much about the people who have gone over ourselves, because it's sort of the identities are kept private, but the ones that have been interviewed are definitely, they fit the profile. They fit the profile. So if there are amongst them people who don't fit the profile, it would be lovely for them to come out and say, listen, we don't fit the profile. So I haven't seen any of that. Okay, so this is the kind of person that...
Before we go any further, let me take a minute, and I like to run our little commercials and take breaks. I'm going to run our longest one, which is Wild Bill, and people love it. And that will give you an opportunity, if you'd like to adjust your camera.
I will do that gladly. Yes.
Okay, I know it's bugging you. I feel you in my brain. I do. Let me hit the button, and we'll be back in just a minute, guys, with some coffee and a better, not a non-Dutch angle. Hello, and welcome to Shakespeare with a Redneck. Finally, I'm Wild Bill Wigglestick, and this is my trusty sidekick, Willie the Kid. And we'll be your handsome hosts, your gilded guide, your cowboys, concierges to Shakespeare. Oh, how cute. Wait, is that Et tu, Ollie? Run along, little doggy. Bill, where the hell have you been? Well, you know, I've been roaming the earth, going back and forth upon it, to and fro and whatnot. I like to travel too. Wait a second. Yep, back and forth upon earth, doing unto others before they do unto me. Bill, are you quoting the Bible? Trying to quote the Bible? Indeed I am. Despite my appearance, I am a man of culture and know many things, not just Shakespeare. Really? So you have a Shakespeare monologue related to atheism or skepticism? Indeed I do. Bear witness. Oh, this is going to be good. This is the excellent foppery of the world, that when we are sick in fortune, often the product of our own behavior, we make guilty of our disasters the sun, the moon, and stars, as if we were villains on necessity, fools by heavenly compulsion, knaves, thieves, and treacherous by spherical predominance, drunkards, liars, and adulterers by an enforced obedience of planetary influence. And all that we are evil in by a divine thrusting on. An admirable evasion of whoremaster man to lay his goatish disposition to the charge of a star. My father compounded with my mother under the dragon's tail, and my nativity was under Ursa Major, so that it follows I am rough and lecherous. I should have been that I am, had the maidenliest star in the firmament twinkled on my bastardizing. Wow, that really is spot on about what we cover here on the channel, about how, people... So here's a quick rundown of the situation. Bill, this non-believer, ignores the teachings of his learned father and ends up getting 4 people killed. Bill, that's not... Okay. Carry on. Shakespeare was a heathenistic non-believer bound for the fiery pits of hell, just like yourselves.
I don't think. And in order to throw the murderous church of the time off his heathen trail, he writes the skeptic as a sneaking, lying, adulterated father and brother, hating and betraying villain who ends up getting his comeuppance in the end. Bill, oh, come on, man. You're always blah, blah, Bible stuff, blah, blah, boring. You got to spice things up. Bill, tacos are spicy. Everybody loves tacos. Bill, tacos and boobies. Okay, you're not wrong there either. Tasty and delicious culture, baby, coming at you. Avoid the storm of familial discontent. Blow winds and clap your cheeks by clicking that subscribe button and hitting that. Wait a second. Don't you mean crack your cheeks? Nope. Bill. Send safely, my friends. Take care.
Peace.
And we're back, guys. Here we are. Thank you all. Trina, nice to see you there. Randall Flagg, thank you for being here. James Apperson, I appreciate you, all you wonderful people. Normally, I try to shout out to people. It's just today's been an exciting ride of the show. We have a wonderful guest who's facing.
Did you say James Apperson?
Yeah.
You know James?
I know James. Hello, James. James is a. I haven't seen James in ages. He was always welcomed on our Pre-Thought Hour show that I do with John Richards. We're taking a bit of a hiatus now. So hello, James. It's lovely to know you back with us. It's fantastic. I'm so glad. Hope you enjoy it. That's awesome. My tale of a tale of two crosses.
Oh,
yes.
Crosses.
Yes. So that's very cool. Thank you all for joining us. It's just been a day, so it's I haven't been as good at keeping up with the chat as I like to do, but we finally got things settled. She's going to continue now with the show with her little story. We will take another break here in a little bit because we got to do Theocracy Watch, but I'd really like for her to get us to a good point before we do Theocracy Watch and we get back on her story. So I'm going to let her go. Whether you want me to hold on here or continue.
And you play the video, and I just want to see. I want to display the beauty. There's no hate like Christian love, you know.
Okay.
And then just perhaps this is another one. So
lots of Christian love.
Christians are the apex predator. Okay. Somebody has to fight the demons. I don't know this. It sounds a bit like a Trump speech. Somebody has had to fight the demons and make sure it survives. So it's, maybe Christianity survived. Okay. And they are the garbage men. The Christians are the garbage men that take out the trash. And the ticket is up. This is it. Okay. You can play on. This was directed at somebody who responded to him. And
what a disgusting attitude.
Right.
Yeah, and you will understand why this ended up in court in the end, because I'll show you again how the Boer handles and how an example is made. So I'm going to be made an example of. And that made me very uncomfortable, especially when this person phoned my husband's place of work. And you can play while I talk. So what happened is he started to send WhatsApp messages to clients and to collaborators, people that work with my husband's business. They build trailers, by the way. And you can see... Don't fucking cry when you see my face. And this one I found especially threatening. You're going to be free from a lot of things. Because that literally says something is, to me, that says you're going to be free from a lot of things. And there were some WhatsApp messages. I succeeded in getting a protection order from the local magistrate's court. Now, those are not granted very easily. You have to show that there's a real threat. And I succeeded in that. Yeah. And I want to see if you play on, if it's not much longer. There should be, there's one WhatsApp. I don't know if I added that. I didn't include everything in the video because there's a long, okay. This is important. I just need to say that I did say that we did harm 2 crosses. 2 crosses were harmed in the making of this little video clip. Thank you. You can take the video down, Chris. Oh, there's the actual cross. There's the actual cross. So we do acknowledge that we did not succeed in not surviving the cross. So I obtained a protection order because there were some real severe threats also by WhatsApp. Now, if you go from Facebook to making phone calls and WhatsApps, in my book, you've crossed a threshold there. You've indicated that you're willing to go the extra mile, proverbially. And then there was a court date, because now in South African law, if there's a protection order, it has to be made permanent or not. And if you don't want to have a protection order against you, then you have to defend it in court. I don't know what your equivalent to a protection order. What would you, a restraining order?
Restraining order
from abuse. Yeah, restraining order, but we do have PFAs, protection from abuse, things like that. Yeah.
It's similar to that, just for context. And the first court date, he didn't show up in court. Second court date, didn't show up in court. Now, I don't know why the magistrates were so tolerant of him not showing up. There were 4 court dates since April of last year. The last one was, the 5th one was in December, also the 13th, just so happens.
Really?
And then the respondent showed up. Now, by now, my legal fees were, because I had a lawyer to help me, and he showed up on the very last time before the court order would have made permanent. If he hadn't shown up then, the protection order would have been granted, and he would not have lost anything. He doesn't live near me. He doesn't work near me. It is just an issue of pride. And then things really started to happen. Because on that day, he came back and he said, now the order should not be made permanent, because he is coming with a counter accusation, and he's accusing me of blasphemy. So he's accusing me of blasphemy because I took the crosses off the traffic signs. And then, of course, he did go, and I was astonished. I was absolutely astonished, because I didn't know that it was still possible in South Africa under South African law. But let me tell you that under South African law, it is still on our books. And there's actually blasphemy or criticism of religion is restricted in law and is punishable by a fine. I did not know that, and I thought that I was quite clued up on South African law and so this case has the potential. Now, I have no idea what's going to happen, because it might just be the case that the magistrates, so we have magistrates similar to what they have in the UK. You have in lower courts, do you have judges in lower courts, or what do you have in lower courts?
Yes, judges. Yeah.
Okay, so this is not a judge. In South African law, a judge is sort of higher up. So this is a very local case in a very small local court. And we have magistrates that hear these cases. So now there's a few possibilities. The magistrate can grant the protection order, or the magistrate might say, no, listen, there's actually something here because you took these crosses down, and it might. So I have no idea. I don't know what's going to happen.
Wow. I got a couple of questions for you real quick.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. If I may, and we can, we've got possibly even some Christians maybe in the chat let's ask and see if people can. How is it blasphemy for you to remove the Christian cross off of the public sign? You didn't. I mean, you may have damaged them getting them off, but they're not supposed to be there. It's government property. How is it blasphemy? Did you do it naked? Were you swearing while you did it? Did you I mean, you did publish that you did it. You didn't say anything bad about it. Of course, I gotta admit, my Afrikaans is a bit rusty. So is that what it's called? Your language that you were? Yes. So I couldn't tell what you said in your post, but and then the worst thing, the most insulting thing I think I could possibly think of that I saw from your side wouldn't even be an insult. At the end, you put "Rest in peace," R.I.P., over the image of the broken cross. Some people might see that as an insult. You could be like, why are you insulted by that? That's literal. Rest in peace. This cross is damaged. We apologize for it. I just don't see how this is blasphemy. However, question number 2, if it is blasphemy, if you're an evil blasphemer, why do we have this lady on my show? No. If you're a blasphemer, how is your blasphemy worse than his physical threats of violence and stalking against you and your family? Even if you burned a Bible, how is that more? I mean, really, the fact that it escalated is one thing, but it has to end in your favor. And it almost certainly should end in problems for him. I would think legal problems for him. He should have to pay your court fees, your lawyer fees for defending that as blasphemy. Because what's blasphemous about it?
And that is why I'm hoping that this will end with him being. So my legal fees, I can tell you, and to me, this has been really, really financially harmful. $3,500 US.
Wow.
Up to now.
Really?
$3,500
I mean,
US.
here in the United States, they charge you that just to call the lawyer for the first. Hi, my name is Chris. They're like $5,000.
Okay, so you're telling me I'm getting this at a bargain?
yeah, I need to move there. Yeah. No, go ahead.
I will tell you that it's 6 months of my gross earnings as a teacher.
Wow,
right.
Wow. Yeah.
So to me, it's 6 months of my, and it's not finished yet. I mean, this is up to, this is
dollar. It matters on principle. I mean, but the money does, this is your money that you have to spend to protect yourself from.
And my only other option was to say, now, all right, I'll drop the case. I'll drop the protection order charge. But the thing is, this person, and he calls himself, and he has actually stood up in court, and so he came to court, and that's another reason why it's so expensive, is because he's defending himself, because no lawyer is as passionate for Christ as he is. Therefore, he calls himself a soldier for Christ. Now,
okay, that brings some alarms. Couldn't you request that some sort of psychological evaluation be done against him based on things like that? Even here in the United States, things like that could be brought up. I mean, you could go, hey, this guy clearly shows this is all fun and games until there's a news report about something most unfortunate happening to you because of something like this. This very rarely ends with him going, oh, I'm sorry, and walking away. I'm just saying, based on what you've described about this individual to us so far.
Now, this is one individual in one case, and I want to emphasize that it's just my story, and so far nothing has happened. But what this has taught me is that, and persecution or discrimination. I don't feel persecuted because I'm an atheist, but there's a lot of discrimination, and discrimination comes in very subtle ways. And I find it so laughable that these Afrikaners, these South Afrikaners who have now fled to the US, sponsored by your tax money, by the way. And I don't know, I hope I'm not treading on any toes, but you have paid for white conservative Afrikaners to be flown to the US, and they're being taken care of by your tax money, by your government, because they feel persecuted because they are white. And I find that so ironic, because as an open atheist in South Africa, I can give you many examples of very subtle and less subtle persecution in a variety of ways. For example, in this case, when I succeeded in getting the protection order, then when the protection order was, he received the protection order, this person, he went and created a fake Facebook page of my husband's business. So he cloned the page and he said that we are Satanists, we are pedophiles, that we use the trailers that we manufacture to smuggle drugs and children. In fact, he claimed, he said that we are sentenced. He used the words, we've been sentenced, we have been found guilty of pedophilia. I'm a teacher. I run a small homeschool center.
How can you not sue this man for so many things? For defamation? I don't know how to staff out. I mean,
okay,
what does he do, by the way?
I don't know. I don't know what he does. I don't know what his job is. But now what I want to tell you is, so we have the protection order, and the protection order stated that he's not allowed to do anything that he did. So he created this clone Facebook page. We are suing him in a civil suit for that. I don't know how long that's going to take and how much money that's going to cost us, but we are in the process of doing it. But, however, because of the protection order, which is a criminal matter, the moment he did that, the moment he opened this fake Facebook page and said these things about us that were really harmful, and also he made a post saying that people who want to talk to us, and you can read "talk to us" about our satanistic and pedophilic actions, can come to my house. And he posted where my house is. Okay. Oh, wow. Now that is in contravention of the protection order. So I went to the local police station because I have a protection order. If he contravenes it, he should be arrested. I sat in the office of a white police officer. I told him the story. You know what he told me? He said, but you shouldn't have removed the crosses. Why did you want to remove the crosses? This is your fault. You asked for it. He would not act and arrest this person. And he told me to my face, he said, I don't have sympathy with the guy, but you were looking for it. So blame the victim.
Wow.
He said to me, why did you have to take the crosses down? You could have just left the crosses there. They weren't harming anybody, were they?
He's not a judge. It doesn't matter. Yeah. His opinion does not matter. He needs to uphold the law. That's what matters.
But I'll tell you, I'm of the opinion, and I might be wrong, but my opinion is that it's because I'm an atheist. It's because
sounds like it.
That is why he did not act and fulfill his legal duty in terms of the law. Now, if that is not discrimination, then what is?
Wow.
So what I'm hoping for is that we will get a cost order in this criminal case, but I'm also hoping that this will highlight how the word insidious is coming to mind, and how pervasive Christian persecution complex, because he claims that I am persecuting his faith. But what I found really interesting when I looked at the fact that there are still these laws in our books, and if you look how the wording of this blasphemy is defined as unlawfully, intentionally, and publicly acting contemptuously towards God. Okay, so maybe I did act contemptuously towards God.
No, you wouldn't. If anything, you were helping God, because idols are bad. False worship is bad. You were removing the idols, and you could back that up with scripture, quite frankly.
Yeah.
But now this is still is a common law criminal offense in South Africa. Some sources suggest that the more recent constitution has made the blasphemy laws unenforceable due to its protections on freedom of expression and also on anti-discrimination grounds. However, this has not been tested in law. And that brings us in South Africa, we have an Equality Act, which forbids hate speech. So I don't have any fear that I will be found guilty of blasphemy. That I don't fear that. But what I do have, I do fear that I will not be treated fairly under the law, and that I might still have to fork out all this money, although there's every reason to make a case that this person should pay out. Wow. Because he went as far as, so we have in South Africa what's called a legal professionals council, a law profession council. And if you feel that an attorney or even a judge has mistreated you, then you can report them, and there will be an investigation into that law practitioner. Because, I mean, lawyers and judges are fallible, as also. I don't know if you have anything like that in the States. So he went and he lodged a complaint against my lawyer at the legal practitioner. He went further than that. He lodged complaints against the 3 magistrates that he had contact with, that he said they were discriminating against him. So there's so much evidence that he's being frivolous. But so if he does not get a cost order against him, to me, that will be an indication of a miscarriage of justice.
Absolutely. And
I will then, I don't know if I'll do anything, because I think my resources will have been completely depleted. But it will indicate that this is something that is alive and well. Blasphemy laws are alive and well, and it has not been tested in law. And I think that it should be taken off our law books completely. I don't think it should be there.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because right now we have a secular
very subjective, by the way.
Oh, God.
It was very subjective, in your language. Yeah.
So, we have a secular constitution and a secular government. But as I'm speaking to you, there is a Muslim political party that is registering to be a political party in our country. We have a significant number of Muslims in our country. And the person who is going to be the leader of this party, if they succeed in being registered as a political party, because there's certain rules and things political parties in South Africa have to adhere to. This person has been involved with ISIS. Okay. Can you imagine South Africa 20, 30 years down the line, and we have a Muslim majority or a Muslim opposition party, and we have these laws in our books? And you know how fast things can change.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine what a Muslim majority party will do with a common law on the books like this one here?
Yeah. Well, they'll add more as best they can, for one. But yeah, it'll escalate. Yeah.
Yep. And that's my story.
Wow.
And
we're not done yet. I'm gonna stop you right there. Because there's more. Whenever we get back from this little break, I'm going to take a super tiny little break. Whenever we get back, I'm going to ask you other questions about what happens after. What comes next? We're going to talk about what comes next. Okay, so hold on. Hold your goodies in there. You have time. Good. We're going to take a tiny little break. Let's run some goat-scented flesh candle commercials. And then when we get back, we're going to do Theocracy Watch, and you can kind of hear what's going on here in the U.S. So,
have you sinned again? Oh, and it's bad this time. A chicken just won't do. But wait, you don't have a goat for your burnt offering. Oh no. the Lord's wrath is upon you.
Insignificant person whose name I don't know, you have sinned. Probably. I shall smite thee.
What do? You're all out of goats. She left you for another man.
Fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented flesh candles.
No goat? No problem. Just light one of these bad boys and let the sweet, savory scent of burning goat flesh rise up to the heavens.
Is that goat?
It's easy, it's fast, and deluxe models even have patented technology that produces a goat screaming sound as the wick burns.
Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented candles. Save a goat, burn a candle.
Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented flesh candles are part of our You Do You Jew interfaith outreach program.
When you sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. When the Lord requires that 100 snow, light a candle or you're going to hell.
We're back in just a second here, and we are back. So we might get to some of that, Ms. Tersia. Tersia is quite versed in American politics, so we might talk about some of that. However, what we're going to do first, we're going to do a Theocracy Watch with Rion Cultastic, and then we're going to wrap up a few more questions with Tersia about her wonderful and exciting blasphemy charges going on in South Africa. So here we go with Theocracy.
You're tuned in to the Atheist Morning Show on the DAM Network. And this is Theocracy Watch. A high school girl just won a gold medal in her track and field competition, and the MAGA crowd is losing its mind. Not because she cheated or rules were broken, but because she's transgender. Welcome back to Theocracy Watch, where we expose how faith-based power grabs aren't just changing policy, they're targeting people. Donald Trump is calling for a large-scale fine to go against the state of California for refusing to discriminate against a girl who played in a sport at her school. The California Interscholastic Federation followed state law and even added lanes to accommodate concerns so there were no competitive advantages. But despite these measures, the Trump administration, through the DOJ, claims that California's policies violate the Equal Protection Clause and threatens legal action. This from an administration that often decries federal overreach and demands smaller government while rolling out collective punishment on an entire state because of sports ball games. There's no scandal here. The MAGA crowd are just using federal power like a weapon to intimidate children. People of all ages and genders enjoy playing sports. It's good for your mind, body, and sense of self. If these people were actually worried about protecting girls, they'd stop punishing them for being authentic and rowing up millions of haters on a world platform. Moreover, targeting a teenager for political gain is not only unethical, but also dangerous. Trump is using the White House as his stage and turning our rights into political theater. The goal is public humiliation, and the audience is on its feet, drooling at a chance to dehumanize a child. Trump shows no concern for this girl's safety as he throws temper tantrums and tweet tirades and true social sadism. The MAGA cult would ruin a child's life that admit their worldview isn't reality. Threatening states, punishing children, and sending angry mobs of white Christian nationalists to intimidate and bully a teen is only the kind of love a Christian could give. Their hypocrisy is as blatant as the contradictions in the Bible. They say they're saving the children, but all I see are adults weaponizing scripture to crush one kid under the weight of their fragile beliefs, making her a target of their so-called morality. So anyway, happy Pride Month, y'all. The only kids who need protecting around here are the ones who go to church. So stay curious. Until next.
I hit the wrong button. Button I hit. There we go. We're back. Yes, I do indeed enjoy hitting the wrong button. Just in time for Pride Month. You know, it amazes me, Tersia. I don't know if you have the same thing down there where you're at in South Africa. But here, it really just amazes me how our right-leaning conservative politicians and Christians will go to any length to hurt just a few people. There is a small, tiny, like one trans individual who wants to participate in some school event. And in order to harm that one individual and force them out, they will cut funding for an entire state, thousands of children. And this isn't just, I mean, they did the same thing to Maine. Remember Miss Rion?
Yep.
Yeah.
And she stood up to them, and she won, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure. I don't remember the outcome of it, if it's even still, but still, the fact that they even threatened to do that, they're so keen. And again, I want to make a point out to everybody else. These are, and I use the word carefully, trans people, trans individuals. However, they're children. These are children we're talking about. Above all, these are children, yes. These are underage individuals that, regardless of their sexual identity, these conservatives are using millions of dollars of funds as a leverage to hurt these people.
The Department
The Department of Justice, hurting all these other people. You know, you've seen movies like, I don't know, what was it? War movies where the one guy in the platoon, he's like not pulling up his sweat, so everybody has to do push-ups. Then at night, they all beat him with a thing because he made them do push-ups. Yeah. This is what they're doing. They're trying to make that person the ire of all the hundreds of thousands of other people who are now being punished for their actions. And so is that person safe? Does that make that, I'm sorry, is that child safe? Does that make that child safe? Do they care if that child's safe?
They don't.
They do not.
And just what I can, as a South African, we have slightly different troubles here. But having said that, I don't think Americans realize the influence of a person like Donald Trump, because he has, and everything he stands for, he has such a massive following in my country, especially amongst white conservative Christians. So although we don't have as much money, so we don't have programs for trans kids. We don't have that. Just on that note, very interesting. I did an interview it's in Afrikaans, but maybe I'll get to translate it. I did an interview with one of the very first persons in South Africa who had a sex change operation, and that was in the 70s when we were still very much under apartheid. Yes, and that was a state-sponsored sex change operation. I did a very interesting interview that I did with this person, so what's happening in the US has different manifestations in South Africa, but it's definitely the same principle of, I have this idea, only my idea is right, and anybody who even voices the mildest form of disagreement is persecuting me, and therefore I have to step in, and it doesn't matter whether it's a child or an adult. And so in South Africa, what is a massive problem is there's unadulterated religious indoctrination of children in schools. And the Discovery Institute is involved with it. It is, in fact, it is so blatant, and there's a court order that it's not allowed to happen. But these Christians, they wipe their asses with court orders. Yeah. And they continue. They land up. It's disgusting. It's sickening.
Right. Terry Foster says the same MAGA mentality of idolatry and business person seen in the world. Yeah. I want to find a word or description that we could use to describe this mentality of individual. Here in the United States, we call them right wing, but it doesn't really apply everywhere. There's a reason why they're called right wing, because of which side of the house they sit on. You know, stuff like that. We could call them conservatives, but not everywhere conservatives are like this. But you know, there's this mentality of people we're dealing with that goes back through time, and they are harmful every time. I feel that the same kind of people who we're talking about now are the same kind of people who did things like wrote the Bible. It was a MAGA mindset person who wrote that shit. And it's MAGA mindset people who follow. What is that? How do you wrap up it in term and say, listen, there's a kind of person that should never, ever have political power again. And in whatever word you call it, if you have the Chinese society. In China, they call themselves communist. Great. But within that sphere of people, you have right wing and left wing. You have conservatives, liberal. What word do you use? Because even in that society, despite the fact that they call themselves a communist society, they're not a communist society. They have right wing, the same thing. So no matter what society you go to, whether it's Russia, whether it's China, whether it's India, whether it's the United States, doesn't matter. You've got that third or a quarter of the society who has that mindset, almost a mental disability. And these people should never be allowed to be in charge of it. Look, we have history of thousands of years of history of what they do when they do get in charge. So, preach, Chris. Preach. Oh, hey, NeuroGeezer says preach. Preaching to the choir. That's right. That's the only ones that listen to me anymore. I want to say, NeuroGeezer, you were a mod for Casey Malone, right? Over on her channel. I'd never heard of her before. I would like to get Casey on the show. She does a live stream that ends just before us, and I'm blown away by her awesomeness so far. So I want to get her on the show. If you could make that happen, NeuroGeezer, send a message. Hook us up. Or I'll try some way to get a hold of her, but I'd like to get her on the show. Brent A says, absolutely, Chris, fascism should be called out for what it is. This shit is fascism. Yes. What is the word, though? How do we use the word, that fascism is a good word. That's a good word. How do we use, though? I mean, you can call them but I think we need a better word that we can use to apply to this mindset of people. They are literally a danger to human civilization. When we got near the brink of nuclear war in the 80s, 70s, and 80s with Russia, that was because we had two powers on the other sides of the world from each other who were both led by the right-wing parties of their group. You know what I mean? It's never the left-wing, let's all live and let live group that wants to, I think I froze up on the screen. I did.
You're okay now.
Okay, good.
The interesting thing to me is how it's percolating thanks to the miracle of internet. I mean, here I am sitting in South Africa talking to you two today, which is brilliant. But at the same time, it's to make a biblical reference. Jesus said it's a double-edged sword. The same technology is enabling people like Donald Trump and Elon Musk to spread their influence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Into a place like South Africa where, but it's so selective. And it's so pervasive. We have a very liberal politician. She's a very prominent opposition politician, has been for many years. I've had some interactions with her, and I've always respected her. She came out the other day and said, this whole. She bought into this whole idea of there's two genders and being trans is. And I was absolutely astonished. I thought to myself, how does this happen? This is even from somebody that I would have never expected it. It's pervasive, and we need to call it out, and we need to identify it. And we need to identify it wherever we are in the world, because it is not only an American phenomenon. It is very much a Western phenomenon. Yeah. And it only does harm. And I can say as a teacher that I have had interactions with children way before I knew about anything like transgender, because it has come onto the radar more than like 20 years ago. But before I knew that there was such a term, I knew that I instinctively could see that I'd met kids who were different. They were different.
Yeah.
How people find that threatening just boggles my mind.
Right? It's so strange to me how that, it just feels like threatening to you to see somebody being different than yourself.
And who expresses...
And why they care.
Right? Yeah. Why do
they
you
give
care
a shit? Yeah. Why do they give?
It's fucking weird. They get your mind on better things.
Right. I want to take a moment and call out some folks I don't recognize in the chat. Adam87, good to see you. Nice to meet you. Do you fear the loss of mortality without faith and punishment from the sky? I don't personally. Other people might. Free Thought Productions. Welcome to the damnation, fellow burner. Thank you for joining us.
I know who that is. That's my buddy, John Richards from the UK. He's awesome. The president of Atheism UK. We have a show. We're in a bit of a hiatus, as I said, right now. But he's a very nice person. I'll get him into contact with you, Chris. You might have, he did a very nice video about atheism not too long ago. So yeah, hello, John. Nice to see you. I sent the link.
Hello, John. And Neurogeezer, you guys are all wonderful. Thank you all for showing up. So John said religio-fascist. He's throwing out some words that we could use that I like that. So Christo-fascist is a good word. Religio-fascist is a good word. Part of the problem, and I appreciate this, is really good. Somebody in the chat, hold on, they pointed this out. They said, Chris, you're wrong, and they're right. They're like, wait. Deviant Outcast says, that's not true, Chris. Soviet Russia was never a right-leaning ideology. Soviet communism is, like it or not, a left ideology. And see, that's right. Partly. What I'm saying is within that group, you have people who are more likely to kick a dog and people who are more likely to help a person. You know, and that's the problem. Deviant Outcast is pointing out the exact problem I'm having with pinning any kind of certain name on these people, because it really doesn't apply. Because you can call them, sure, they were a left-leaning sort of situation, but they weren't really in certain aspects. They would also do, I'm just saying it's a mindset. We need to find the word.
Isn't there scales? I mean, there's extremism and
there are. Maybe a sociology class has got that.
I mean, you maybe could do consumerism in a better fashion than we do here if we paid our workers and we had unions or whatever, but we just don't have the protections. It's full scale, like imperial capitalism that we have here. But if we maybe did it better, it could work. We just have extreme point of view right now. So I don't know who's to say.
Lewis, good morning. Go ahead, Tersia.
I'm listening to a very interesting book at the moment. It's by Professor Brian Klaas. I don't know if you've heard of him. His second book is just out, Fluke, a very excellent book. But his first book was Corruptible. So I'm not going to go into all of that. But what it basically says is that it ties in with this whole thing of personalities. Certain personalities are attracted to certain systems. And the systems that we've built in the West seem to attract the worst kinds of people into positions of power. And we perhaps need to rethink how we set up our societal systems, which is not an easy thing because societies change it's difficult to change societies, but it can happen. And I don't want to become too pedantic and academic, but I think that is something that we need to discuss and as a society for our own welfare, because we are, as a society, we are just on a mission to self-destruct in so many ways, individually, interpersonally, and also globally. And to me, that is the value of humanism. So although I'm an open atheist, and I don't mind saying that I'm an atheist, the values that underpin my atheism are secular humanism. And if you compare, to me, that is what should be taught. And the fact that in my country, most people don't know what secular humanism means. They just don't know.
I never heard of it until I got into this community. I was like, secular humanism. I was like, this sounds really good. I like this.
Well, it's a nice way, because atheism is just not the belief in God. So how do we also be not the belief in God and define ourselves as a good person? I like secular humanism. Yeah, carry on, Mr.
Although the term atheism or atheist is also useful. But in my country, if you say you're an atheist, then immediately you've branded yourself a Satanist, which is people just don't know. People don't understand. Yeah. And we have such a major educational task. But I'm a teacher, so I'm doing it. I'm trying. I'm doing my best.
Understood. Well, it's amazing.
A lot of odds.
Go ahead, Ryan. Yes, a lot of odds.
No, yeah, they're just getting pounded with so much criticism, and everything's changing. They're trying to basically just turn them into robots who parrot information, instead of having any critical thinking of yourself. You're just going to have to abide by what they feed you. Like, what's the purpose of a teacher if all you do is just spit back up and shoved in your brain? I don't know. It's not good. Anyway, sorry.
Well, now I just want to ask you, Ms. Tersia, about going forward. We've talked about what happened with your blasphemy charges and how you got all those things happen, and kind of what's going to happen. You're going to face these charges. You doubt you'll be anything will come of it. Understood. Well, how are you going to treat this going forward? If you wake up one morning and you're going down that road and you see crosses on that sign again, are you going to pull them off again?
Well, it depends. It depends on the outcome to a great extent. It does depend on the outcome of what happens on the Friday, the 13th of June, because I don't want to talk. I didn't plan to talk about this, but what has struck me, and I know it's different in the USA, it's very difficult to build a community in South Africa, because I'm in Worcester. It's a small town. There are other atheists here, but most of them are not willing to be out and open. Most of them really don't want to be out because it can seriously damage their possibilities of finding a job. If they have a business, it can seriously harm their business prospects. And that makes it very difficult to build a community. And in order to fight what's happening in our society, and also to change our society for the better, I believe, we need to have communities. So I would love to somehow build a community, but to build a community, one needs resources. Now, I have invested considerable resources. I would have loved to have spent this money by putting up a massive billboard that says, "Do you doubt if God exists? You are not alone." That to me would have been way better funding and effort of my resources. So if I can get some indication that there's support for what I want to do, and I know I'm not the only one who wants that. I know there are other people who want it and who see the need. I know that. But to get over this barrier of accessing resources and getting support to spread the message. And my fellow unbelievers in further north, in Kenya and Zambia, they're doing brilliant work. The secular and humanist societies in Kenya and Zambia, they've put up billboards and they've raised money and they've really done stellar work. They actually have humanist schools in Zambia. I've spoken to some of the principals of people who run humanist schools in a place like Zambia, where one would not expect it. So depending on the outcome, so if the court case goes in my favor, then I will have a foot to stand on. And then I want to go very much public with what happened here, and I also want to then emphasize that we do have a resource, that we have a secular legal system in South Africa, and that it actually works, because that's a very important step. And then I would really love to get a community going that prevents things like this from happening. Because as I'm speaking to you, there are crosses put up in every single town. Very public crosses. Those are the ones I'd actually, okay, can I say this? Can I say I want to target crosses? I don't want a cross at the entry of my town that says Worcester for Jesus. There's hardly a small town in South Africa that does not have a 20-foot cross that is brightly lit, stands out against the night sky, and proclaims this town for Jesus. we cannot live in a society like that. I don't want to even, and I must say, even when I was a Christian, and I was a devout Christian for the first 40 years of my life, even when I was a Christian, I had no desire to have a cross put up anywhere to proclaim that this town is for Jesus. Why does one need to do that? Why?
Right.
When did this happen?
That's offensive.
It's not necessary.
Yeah.
And how dare I speak? And if you look at Christianity, to me, I'm from a very conservative Calvinist background. You don't need crosses. That's idolatry. The Catholics have crosses, and the Catholics are all going to hell. I mean, so really, we know that. I knew that as a Protestant, as a good Calvinist. The Catholics were going to hell. They were wrong. They
are. It's on the top of every cereal box here.
Absolutely. So that is I would like to see a society where we have freedom of religion, but also freedom from religion. And what I mean by that is, when I send my child to a public school, I do not want to have him being preached to every Monday morning during assembly for 2 hours, which is what happens in our schools. I do not want to send my child to a public school. Last week, the 28th of May was, I don't know, did you celebrate Ascension Day?
I don't know.
The going up day, you know?
I get it. What do they ascend?
They're transcending it all.
I'm sorry. Ascension Day. No, I didn't. Easter? Is that what you would call like Easter?
No, Easter is Easter. Ascension Day is plus minus 40 days after Easter, when Jesus went up. When Jesus went up to, and he was taken into heaven. So
that's what I thought it was. Okay.
Yeah. So before 1994, prior to that, that was a national holiday in my country. It was a national holiday. It was day off. Now, since 1994, it's no longer a public holiday. But if you send your child to a public school, most public schools in South Africa will have a church service on that day. There won't be regular, there will be some regular school. And I have no option. So when my kids were in primary school, that's up to around about 12, I didn't know that this was going to happen because I never paid attention when I was a Christian. So, and perhaps that's the message that I want to bring out there. When I was a Christian, I didn't pay attention to the things that I did that could have and possibly did make other people uncomfortable. And I think I was even more, I never tried to force my beliefs on anybody, not deliberately, but I must have, because there were so many things I wasn't aware of. In South Africa, I don't want children to have to go to church because it's the day of Ascension and the principal is a Christian and he wants to celebrate that day.
Yeah. It's not the place.
Right. It's not the place. Well, that's kind of where we're headed here. What you're telling us is a perfect example of where we're headed here. In some states, they got to where the Bible the Bible is just supposed to be in every classroom or something. I don't remember exactly what those states. But now we have in Texas, they just made it to where the 10 Commandments in every classroom. Wasn't it also Louisiana that does that? I want to point out, these are Christians. Whenever you press them on the Old Testament, you're like, God is this and God does this and God that. Oh, that's the Old Testament. That doesn't count anymore. Jesus is the New Testament. He brings love and all this business. Then why the hell aren't you putting the Sermon on the Mount in those classrooms instead of the 10 Commandments? Why aren't you putting the thing in there that tells you to love people and treat immigrants nice or whatever, instead of the one that tells you to hurt people and mind the Lord? You know what I mean? It's just, but that's where we're headed. What you're talking about is where we're headed. Prayer in school.
Heed my warning. Heed my warning. Where I live, there's an organization and they have a lot of money. They visited your president not too long ago. They're called Afriforum and Solidariteit. You can look them up. So they were in the White House, 4 guys. They have an organization that enables educators, state-employed educators, on not teaching the theory of evolution in biology class because they don't accept evolution. And they help educators on. So if I'm a biology educator and I'm a Christian and I'm a young earth creationist and I don't accept the theory of evolution, and I say, I'm not teaching it. And it happens. There are many, many cases where a teacher will just outright say, I'm not teaching this. I will not ask questions in my tests on my children. The school that my kids attended when they were in high school, the biology teacher said, if you want to read that section in the textbook, it's fine. You can do it. I'm not teaching it. And don't worry, there won't be questions on that section in your exams. And this organization helps educators. So if I'm a parent and I want to say this teacher has to be forced to teach what the curriculum says she must teach, then she can, they're also like a teachers union. She can go to that union and they will protect her right to not teach my child the theory of evolution because she doesn't accept it.
Right.
That's what you guys are in government schools, not private school, not religious school, government school.
One of the things that they could do, though, is put her in have her teach something that doesn't involve that. If she's teaching English class, it doesn't have anything to do with evolution. So maybe she shouldn't be teaching biology. Just a thought there.
She's a biologist. That's all she can teach is biology. That's her qualification. She's a biology teacher. She cannot teach English. And by the way, what school
did she go to get the degree in biology and not go through evolution? That's crazy. I'm sorry. Gilead, yes, it is philosophish. It really is. It's manifesting. It's happening faster than we think. Those of you who have seen The Handmaid's Tale. Go ahead, Mr. Tersia.
I just want to say, heed my warning. You do not want to raise your children in a world where they are religiously indoctrinated. And I can tell you many stories about the real, actual harm that has happened in people's lives, where they are put in situations, if you're gay, and it's a very Christian school, government school, then you are discriminated against. You are made to feel guilty. And that's just for being gay. Imagine being trans. Imagine being 16 and you're a non-believer in a school in rural South Africa that has a Christian ethos. Imagine that. And the one other thing that I think as an atheist community, we need, in South Africa at least, Christians have monopolized the community aspect of humanity. As atheists, as secular humanists, we have the same desire to be part of a community, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's human. We are humans. But what Christianity has done, it has monopolized community. And I see that in particular in schools. So you have these events where all the kids are together, but it's focused around Christianity and Bible reading and gospel songs. And a 14-year-old, a 13, 15-year-old, their greatest desire is to be part of a group. And that's how the Christian indoctrination in schools, it sucks them in because they desire the community, and Christianity is brilliant at doing that. Mm-hmm. And as secular humanists, we have not yet found a way of, especially amongst younger people, of creating that same sense of community. And it's causing us long-term harm that we're not getting that right. And that is another something that I would like to address in my country, because young people need to know that if you see a cross on a traffic sign, you have the right to take it off if the traffic officer who sees it every day does not take it off, especially then.
Right. You know, I wonder, I don't know about here, but there may almost certainly be an official way that if you see something, what are you supposed to do? If you're going down the road and you see a stop sign has been knocked over, how do you report that? By that same method, you should be able to report that a sign has been defaced, and they should, just a thought, take care of that for you. I got another point before you go again. I just want to mention that also I would recommend, if possible and legal in your nation, any encounter you have with any people going forward, like that officer which you went and reported to, I would record that going forward, because him telling you, you know, hey, it's your fault. Anyway, it's time for us to wrap up the show.
Oh, sheesh.
I know it's going fast. You have been fantastic. Go ahead, Brian.
I had a couple questions, but that's okay. I'll just ask one. Do you have a GFM or a Cash App or anything like that? So if anybody in the community would like to help support you through this?
I have a PayPal account that is in my personal name. One of the reasons I had a website, but because of all the financial strain, I've had to shut the website down because I couldn't afford the hosting fees. So if anybody is willing and would like to contribute, I have a local bank account in the name of the organization that I run, Kruisvrij. So I don't know how easy it is for people from overseas to donate to a South African bank account, but I do have a PayPal account, and any funds that it will be most welcome. And the nice thing about the exchange rate is that $5, you can times it by 17, almost 18. It goes a hell of a long way to covering. My PayPal.
Go ahead. No, yeah. PayPal. What is it?
Okay, let me just see. It's just my name and surname at. I should have had this ready.
I meant to ask you earlier, but there was just so much to know.
Yeah, no, it's not a problem. It's if you go on PayPal and you look up Tersia du Plessis at iCloud.com, you should find me there. At iCloud.com. And that's my email address. Anybody who'd like to make contact, you're more than welcome. This is a developing story, and it might turn out to be interesting. It might just be because I did read that this case has this blasphemy. The last time was in 1968. So if this comes up, which I have no idea, maybe the magistrate just laughs this guy out of court, which is a win.
It's possible.
But it also depends, because he has the right to appeal, which he might do. And then it could go up as far as the Constitutional Court, because he is claiming that he has the right to defend his belief. So, you know, it could go it could go anywhere.
Let's hope that it goes your way, as it should, because this could set some kind of precedent that I don't want to see happen to you.
Absolutely.
Or to us.
Yes, no, and it's something that we need to build better societies. Okay. And to me, that is what secular humanism is about, building better societies. Absolutely. Because, you know, look at the God we created. I'm sure we can do better. Mm-hmm. I'm sure we can do better.
Far better.
You know, I hate to rush you. I gotta go.
I'm done.
One of the days,
I'm done.
So we did. So, but you'll come back. That's the whole deal. From, you know, in a couple of weeks, you're going to do next week. You're going to do you're going to go to court, and then after that, hopefully, we will stream live with you again from your cell. You'll have a phone, right? I kid. But we will have you back on the show. I don't mean to rush. I got to go take Ollie. He's got a date.
I thank you so much for this opportunity. It was great. There we go.
Awesome.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for coming, Tersia. It was great to have you.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Bye.
Again, come back again. We'll have you. Thank you. Send safely, my friends. You all take care. We'll see you tomorrow. And we're going to do stuff. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe, my friends.
Bye.
Bye.
I know where the button is. I really do know where this button.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booth, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goats, the scent that leads the way. Clean your slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find redeeming grace. From your living room to the kitchen sink, light the gold candle